So welcome back to the channel. And I'm going to start by saying, as a kid, I was taught a valuable lesson. And for some reason, I've chose not to listen to that valuable lesson. And the lesson was, don't cut corners, don't cut costs, don't buy cheap. And what I've done is I haven't listened. I saw a microphone on TikTok shop, I purchased it, and as you can tell, the quality isn't brilliant. However, the most important part of this is I've had to come back today. So I've done a load of filming today. I got back. Luckily, I had to pick some bits up, and I'll show you what I picked up in a little while. But I got back, pressed play on a couple of videos, and the sound keeps cutting in and out. There is no sound in parts, and there is sound in other parts. So what that means is I've done a whole day of filming with no sound. So I'm back, and you'll see why I've come back, because I could have done this another day. But I mentioned yesterday, and I'm going to do this bit again. So yesterday, I had an idea. I spotted this on the allotment, and also I spotted this space here, and it doesn't make sense. This is where the polytunnel has always been, and this is the old layout. We've just taken it on, and this is the old layout. This path doesn't make sense to me, and I found this. It wasn't here, it was just around. I don't know where it was, but I found that, and it's a bit of guttering. And if we come across here, or it's a guttering clip. However, if we come across here, what I do have is a bit of guttering. And if you notice on the guttering, turn it back around, there's signs of tape. And what I think they've done is, I think at some point that has supported the guttering, and the tape has taped a makeshift like sort of guttering along the edge of the polytunnel or somewhere else on the plot, and it's collected water. However, we don't have a water but, and you will hear me saying this a lot, and I think what we should probably do is have a rolling counter throughout the season, and every time I say the word Freecycle, that number should go up, because Freecycle is, and you will find out, my absolute best friend. And I say that because I found 2 water butts on Freecycle today to collect, and here they are. These are the water butts, and they are big, humongous water bucks. They have bases, they have connectors, so I can do an overflow system. And what I'm thinking is I'm going to get them in that space there, one at the back, one in front. I'll run the guttering into the back one, I'll connect the back one into the front one. The front one, the tap will be just here facing forward. I might try and put the other one where the tap goes in the side there, so if in an emergency I need to get water, I've got access to it. And maybe over the back, but I don't really want to be walking up someone else's plot. So anyway, I'll work that out. But what I'm thinking is the 2 water butts there, the guttering goes into the back one flows into the front one, and the front one is where I collect water from. And that's what I'm going to do this afternoon. So I've also brought this from home. I collected this. I've had this in the garden for a little while. I don't know where I'm going to put it, but I will utilize it at the plot. However, there is going to be a load of video that isn't going to make sense, that's going to have music, there's going to be sound, because as you can see in the background, I put up the polytunnel. And what I'll probably do is I'll cut to a hyperlapse video whereby I put that together. as you can see, I put the polytunnel plastic on and I've rearranged everything inside. I don't know where I'm going to have everything yet. I haven't quite decided, but if we do go inside, I've put this chair. I don't know how safe it is, but I have like sort of hammered it back together. There are a few loose bits that I could do with neatening up, but that's handy. This table I've put there. So the idea is, and again, I said in an earlier video, I've decided to put the potting table there because it makes most sense, because the way the sun is, the sun goes over the backside here. So this will be the hottest, sunniest side. So I can obviously grow stuff along there, but while I'm doing seeds and everything else and getting seed trays going and doing various other things, it makes sense that it's on that side. So I've put the table there. I'm going to try and put something else, or makeshift something to maybe put some more seeds along there, seed trays. But I've had a general tidy up. There's not a lot else to say. Actually, while I'm at it, I will go over one thing that I did earlier, is I sorted out this netting. So here, around the edge, don't know how well you can see it, you can make it out at the top better, but around the edge, all the way around here, we actually have netting, and it was just hanging off of this post, and it was also just hanging off of that post. What I've done is I've brought it down, I've cable tied, but if you notice, there's actually an excess here. So I think at some point what they've also done is they've had that along there as sort of like a makeshift door, and it makes sense. And I also think that this plinth that's in the middle makes sense, that at some point there was netting that come all the way over here, and this whole bit was like an enclosed space with netting around. It keeps the animals away, it keeps the birds away, so anything we grow in here is reasonably safe. And I actually think the focus was always to get this bit done first, because it's already set up and it just makes sense. That's still the focus moving forwards this year, is to, the kids have got a bed here. You can see this bed here is just for the kids. Around the edges, we're going to have various other bits. I've got a plan actually. Let me show you the plan. This is the plot. Actually, that's the initial. That was the initial draft, but this is the plot. I haven't made up these beds yet anyway, so that makes sense that they're blank. I haven't quite decided what to do here. Not everything is on here, so even though there are tomatoes we do back at the house. Cucumbers we probably do in bags at the house. Carrots are not on here because carrots we do back at the house, because we had a successful crop last year in raised planters essentially. So we won't be doing carrots down here, the blueberries and things like that. But this book, I got bought this for Christmas. My nan, she bought me this book, and it is absolutely brilliant. This is what I've been using, so it gives me a good guide of, because sometimes it can be really overwhelming, seasons and what to grow and when, and this is just really helpful just to get things in focus. So when I feel overwhelmed or not sure what I can grow or when to plant it, it's a good book to refer to. So thank you, Nan, I really do appreciate that, and it is going to much use. But yeah, back to the plan. So if I come out here, it's not drawn to scale, but you get an idea that that is the plot, and I think it's pretty good. Now I have changed these back to what I'm going to do. It makes more sense that we have this path that just flows up here. These beds will come out probably to about there, I think, and again they will come out, so there won't be as big a path as it looks like. I've covered it right over because as you can see there, we had some grass growing through. But it makes more sense that the beds, whenever I get round to doing them, I actually butt up to that bed there, because what we've ended up with, if I don't, and I do it following the original plan with a path, is essentially I just waste that bit of space through there. And it doesn't make sense, because I've got a path up there, I'll have a path that goes across the back and down the sides, so it just makes sense that I do 3 beds of the same length. And they wouldn't work if I shimmied them up slightly, because I'd need a path through there. So yeah, anyway, that's a lot of talking. I am actually going to get on and do something, so I'll probably set up the camera again to do a hyperlapse of me putting these into there, clearing that space, getting them into there. I haven't brought no tape, so I can't actually show you me putting the guttering on, but at some point I might offer it up so you get a bit of an idea. But yeah, let me get the camera set up, and that's what I'm going to go and do. So I met this plot owner earlier, so I'm not stressing about walking on her plot. So if that's not plot etiquette, just know I met her and she'll be okay with it. What I've done is I've put a ring of bricks here. Don't know if they're in the exactly right position yet. However, it makes sense that I raise this back one slightly. So what I'm going to do, I can show you, is I'm going to sit that back one on there slightly higher, so as just to create a little bit more pressure and to create this, make this one slightly higher than that. So when it drops down, it can feed into that. Let me show you. Let me get it in place and show you. So that's my idea. So essentially it's raised slightly off of bricks. If I come around the side here, it's slightly higher. So that one, when it overflows, it will have a little runoff. I'm not sure it's going to make much of a difference, but that little drop, it means that when this one fills up, it will overflow, and hopefully the idea is that it falls into that one. And that's the idea. So there we go. We have a water supply. Now, how brilliant is that? That we're not even into spring yet, and essentially I have my own water. It will seem like this needs to go higher though, because where that is, there's no way that's going to run off into that back water butt. But what I could, see, I was saying I could put it up there, but how's it just going to collect water? It needs to run off of here somehow. So ideally, I want it as low down as possible. So what I might do is have it about here, and then have it so it runs off there. Let me go and get the gutter in and see what we're working with. Now I might not use this bit, I might get another bit, but let's just get an idea of what we're working with. So my idea is that something like that, I might have to put an elbow on there. So what I might do, or a join, is I might stick it there most of the way down, and at the end I'll just run it off at an angle so it collects, maybe even just do it right to the end and have it run off into the water butt. But for now I'm going to take these lids off and let them collect water naturally. And as if that wasn't good enough, what we also got when we collected the water butt was we got gifted these. We was asked if we wanted a couple of chairs for the allotment. So how handy are they? Just means that, you know, when I'm pottering or doing whatever, they're just really handy. So they will sit in here at the allotment, and again, absolute freebies. Nice. As you can tell, I'm buzzing today. I am absolutely stoked. How exciting is that? Water butts, we've got everything sort of clear. We're starting to take shape. It actually looks like an allotment plot. It doesn't look like it's covered in weed anymore. It looks like there's something's happening. I'm going to start sowing seeds. So I've actually got seeds now that have arrived at the house. So we now have seeds to sow. I have a list of seeds. I'll show you the list in a later episode. I'll go through the list and show you what it is that I actually plan on sowing. What I might do actually is I might have a day down here over the next few days where I set up in the polytunnel, and I'll actually do all of the seeds down here, because it makes sense having this table that I just use it. That's what it's for. It's designed, I've done it so it is for seeding. So I'll just put the compost on there and seed trays, and I'll just set all my seed in here, put it on there. Anything that needs to go home and into the utility room, that will happen. And anything that can stay down here, that will also happen. So it just makes sense. It just makes sense. So for the second time today, I'm actually going to say bye. Thank you for sticking around and watching. If you got this far, do the usual stuff. You don't have to. I'm not going to preach what to do. If you want to see videos, there is a notification button, but you do what you want to do. If you like what you see, stick around. If you want to see the kids learning, feel free to come back. You know, I'm going to make mistakes. They're like the sound, you know, mics that cutting in and out, but I will learn along the way. And if there's anything that you have as far as advice, tips, anything that maybe you think I should grow, anything that you grow. Tell me what you like to grow. Tell me what seeds you're starting to sow. You know, if there's anything you feel that I need to know, or, you know, feedback, drop it in the comments. So yeah, fire away. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you think I'm getting on. Let me know what you're up to, whether that be at home, whether that be at an allotment, whatever, you know, whether you've got children, are the children getting involved? All of that stuff. I'm really interested. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to end the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time at Peter Rabbit's Garden.